Okay. So the recording just started. And I can edit everything from here now.
Yes.
So we're good. So I'm just gonna go of 3, 2, 1, basically.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to AX Gamer, guys. And today I'm back with the squad fam, and I'm gonna do some real quick interviewing, and we're gonna just talk about some Chinese stuff, Chinese current event, and an interesting Fortnite conspiracy theory. Plus, at the end, I'll give my sponsor a shout out. So let's begin with introducing my friend here. What's your name, sir?
Yes, I'm Cole. Yeah.
You're pretty cool. We go to school together, and we're just being really awkward at the first 5 minutes because it's like a live show. And let's jump right into the topic. Jump right into the topic.
Yes.
All right. So I heard you guys were learning about Chinese Civil War.
Yeah, we were in Mr. Daniel's class. That was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny? Whoa,
Yeah.
wait, what's the funny part?
He's just funny. No,
Yeah, he's
Civil
funny.
War's not funny.
War is not funny.
War is not funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Civil War is almost always more destructive, like
True.
from an economic, political, and social perspective.
American Civil War. I think that's the most
Yeah.
American soldiers that have died.
Yep, more than World War II and World War
I
One.
think combined.
Yeah, true fact. So it was a pretty sad moment when Chinese Civil War happened, and just around the World War II period, and afterwards, Chinese government became the CPP or something like that. So basically the Communist
it's the
Party.
CCP.
CCP,
Chinese Communist Party.
Chinese Communist Party. They took over, and as Mao, as the new chairman, he started something called the Chinese Cultural Revolution. And the funny part about this is I actually never learned this in China. Yeah, and all the information I learned is here from US because they stopped teaching that. Like
That's
what
weird.
happened in Chinese Cultural Revolution. And I think that is the most fundamental, the most important lesson in Chinese history if you want to learn something from it. Because it's not just about the Chinese people, it's about what happened when people play politics.
Yeah.
That's the
deep.
result of what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go briefly through a timeline. Maybe you can follow, maybe it's a little hard. Tell me to stop if you have any question.
Okay.
So Mao basically took power 1949, around there.
Yeah.
And that he became chairman. China have its own constitution. That's what happened. And afterwards, he said, yo, we gotta be communists here. First of all, I'm gonna do all these policy, right?
Yeah.
And you guys gave me suggestion on like what's wrong with these policy, and tell me what's popping, what's good, and what's bad. So that's what basically Mao said. And many people jump out and said there are problem with these policies. And some people even have really strong thoughts saying communism might not be the way to go. They say let's look at North Korea and South Korea. Which doing better, the capitalistic country or the communist one?
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, South Korea is doing better. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's not right. Let's look at Germany.
Did they die though?
Wait, hold up. They did not die at the time when they said this. So they said, look at Germany, right? The communist part of Germany is not doing well as the capitalist part of Germany. They're like, hold up, and look at us. They compared China mainland to Taiwan.
Yeah.
And they said, wait a minute here, squad fam. They said, Taiwan is doing a lot better than China. Chairman Mao, we should maybe adapt some capitalistic trade. And then when Mao, that's basically his master plan. So everything he started was a bait.
Yeah.
To see how many people disagreed with him.
Yeah.
And what happened afterwards, he categorized all of them into the right. So in China, it's actually switched around. Like the right is the progressive, the liberals, and on the left is the conservative. And it was pretty bad. And throughout that time, what Mao did a very interesting policy is people sometimes in U.S. call it the identity policy, and it's a huge criticism of like politician here like Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, heard of those people. They claim the left used identity politics. It's similar to identity politics, which Mao listed a 5 category of good people, and they're called the Hong Wu Dai. Hong as red, 5 as Wu as 5. Dai means the generation, and the Hei Wu Dai, and the black 5 generation. Well, he doesn't mean necessarily generation, basically 5 category. So if you come from a farmer background, you're good. If you're a co-worker, you're good. If you're a retired veteran, you're good. And if you're a poor peasant, like a farmer, you are good. And if you serve for the Communist Party, you are good. And the people are bad are the right side people. So people disagree with him. Criminals, they're all bad, no matter what kind of crime you made. And rich people, that's bad. So if you're born rich, that's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And plus little stuff. And basically, if you're a landowner, if you own land, you are automatically evil.
Yeah.
And I think there's another category, but if you understand what I'm going, all the people that had power or people that Mao did not like belongs to the Black 5. So that's the beginning of the Cultural Revolution. It haven't happened yet. So he started making more and more rules confined that, for example, like people can't marry between the two. So if you belong to the black, like the 5 black, you cannot marry to the red 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
I got you.
and basically it started conflict that if you were born into the right family, you have more power than the one that doesn't. And it got a lot more interesting because the more Mao tried everything, the worse China got. Like, especially economically, it went way downhill, way too quick. Because China is a most agriculture-based country.
Yeah.
So people are just farmer. And he said a very interesting plan. He said within the next 5 years, we're gonna beat England, and we're gonna be better than America within the next 5 years. And how are we gonna do this? We're gonna melt all the metals that you guys have in your house, in your backyard. You're just gonna do that yourself or give it to the government, or that's basically his plan. I mean, am I crazy, or does this just sounds a little bit insanity here?
Sounds pretty stupid.
Because he think irons is the most important thing. I'm gonna talk more about iron today, actually. Ooh. He said iron is the most important thing in the world, and he said we are gonna build that iron. We're gonna build that metal. Basically, that destroy the agriculture level of people. All the peasants, all the people who work on the farm, none of them have like equipments later. And he just did other couple bad policy, which is like he convinced people to live in like a apartment.
Yeah.
So all these farmers will go into like one place to eat, but they can eat as much they want because everyone's gonna give in their food. So there are like unique group of people that cook, and then they cook for everyone who lives in an apartment. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's basically college dorm. Yeah. College dorm everywhere in your country. It sounds pretty good at first because you don't have to cook. You just have to give your food and you have a place to live. But the problem is people waste a lot of food because they basically think it's not their food anymore. Yeah. And that's another reason that caused the Great Starvation, and about 22 million people died during that period.
That's crazy.
And the second-hand person at the time, he told
making faces.
Mao,
sorry,
it's okay. I was backtracking myself.
No.
I was thinking what happened, which is like the second-hand person told Mao. He said to his face, he said, when family start trading their kids to eat the other family's kids, because they are so hungry, there's nothing to eat. They eat tree branches. They eat literally everything. So when people are so hungry in this country, they start committing cannibalism, like eating because it's so hard. You can't eat your own kids basically, because that's just too hard. So people will trade children to eat other people's children. Like when we say eat kids for breakfast,
that's literally what they were doing.
Yeah, like it's horrible.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna eat some rice right here.
Yeah, it is so scary and so insane. Absolutely insanity. And the second-hand person, said to Mao, he said, when cannibalism like this happened, our name will be recorded on the history and people will remember us forever as the villain of this lifetime. So after that...
Did you change some policies after that?
Not really. Because in China, there's two most powerful positions. The chairman of the country and the chairman of the Communist Party.
Yeah.
At the time, Mao had both. Basically, he said, I'm going to step down. I'm not going to do any of them anymore because he didn't say I'm a failure. He just said, well, blah, 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 blah. But the other people, his subordinates, said, no, Mao, you still should be the chairman of the Communist Party. They know everything is just a play. Because whoever agreed with Mao for him stepping down, it's going to be the next people Mao target.
Yeah.
So it's all a play. So everyone's like, no, Mao, you're too important. So you still have to be the chairman of the Communist Party, but chairman of the country, let your second-hand person run.
Yeah.
And he did a lot better job. I won't say he's a good politician.
Who? The second-hand guy?
Second-hand, you can call him Leo if you want to.
Leo?
Yeah. And it's very sad because he's not a super smart person. He have basic skill, basic economic skill. But the thing is, no matter how basic you are so much better than Mao in so many ways. Mao is a good general, like strategically on military side.
He was really good. He used the guerrilla warfare and stuff.
Yeah, guerrilla warfare.
Beat the nationalists who were supported by the U.S.
Exactly, nationalists has more military men, more equipment overall, and they were ruling China at the time. So Mao is a really good general, but on ruling a country, not so good. He is a strong Marxist believer, and he went too strong, and the plan didn't work. It didn't work. Communism didn't work. Sorry, guys. That's a big spoiler. What happened is his second-hand person basically said, this is what we're going to do, and China did get better.
Yeah.
Like, farmers started catching up, more crops is growing, and Mao basically said, whoa, this person is taking over my job.
Yeah.
So he basically found a way to remove him from power, basically made him go back to his hometown. And he was removed from the Communist Party. And like on his 70th birthday, basically a mail come in to him telling how he sucks. And you're been officially kicked from the party. Everything you have is removed. And this man allegedly killed himself.
Who?
The second-hand
Leo?
person. Yeah.
Allegedly?
Yeah. He basically killed himself.
That's weird.
Yeah, because Mao basically, after he's gone, and Mao realized, wow, people are really against me, and he basically started the Communist Revolution. And here's the topic. Wow, that was a long background story.
That's okay. It was really interesting.
Okay, basically what happened is, he said, we are going to advertise communism. We are going to advertise what's good about me. And imagine this. Basically what happened, this is a real story I heard from my professor at University of Minnesota. And he actually been through that time.
Yeah.
He was a middle schooler, 8th grader when it all happened. And what happened is, remember the 5 good red people?
Yeah.
5 good red category people, and they came in to school and they said, wow, this is our school now, and everyone have to be gone. They're also called Red Guard from Western perspective, but in Chinese will be like the 5 red.
Yeah.
And these Red Guard basically took over the school, and they did a lot of horrible. They didn't kill anyone, but the idea is you have to beat your oppressor.
Yeah.
So whoever oppressed you in your life, they should be beaten. All the authority, they should be beaten. And what happened is they will sometimes go up to teachers and cut their hair. and they will basically, do a lot of stuff to disgrace and dishonor people. That's either like authority, or they will do that to classmate that belongs to the 5 black category.
That's interesting. So he was going to a school that was like 5 black or something?
Oh no, not Mao himself.
The professor?
He convinced the young people in China, like all over China. And my professor was in a fairly nice school in basically 8th grade. He was in a school at the time, and he actually belongs to the 5 black category, because apparently his grandmother was a landowner.
Oh yeah.
So even your grandmother is a landowner, that can all the way net back to you.
That's crazy.
And he basically stopped going to school, and he was sent down to like a village, like a basically in suburb, like a farming village, to re-educate yourself. And that's how he learned his English. Actually, he had a radio shop, and they'll pick up radio signal from Taiwan to learn English there. That is crazy. Let me just follow through his life story basically, real quick, because that's basically how Chinese Revolution started. And he told us at the time, and people will use their belt to whip the principal.
Whoa.
And some Red Guard even have guns. And basically China fell into a chaos, in a sense people are not sure what to believe and what to do next. Some are like, they're called the protector of the emperor party. So what happened is they follow Mao 100%.
Yeah.
And they believe what he say, they believe what he believes. And some of them, that's one party. Another party is basically, they're the right. They say we should be more progressive. We should not join this chaos.
Yeah.
And the third party is the Freedom Party, which they do absolutely nothing. They try to not participate into anything, and they just try to run away, basically. And it's a good strategy to survive. Strategy. And what happened is, in my teacher, in his time, in his place, the local army gave weapons to the right-wing party. Not the right wing.
The red.
It's the right. Yeah. So the protector, the emperor, the right, and the freedom. That's the 3 party.
Yeah.
And they give weapon to the right party because they believe they were right. They should restore order. We shouldn't do these crazy things. But actually, central government sent another group of army, and they passed weapons to the protector emperor party. Yeah. And there were no gunfire, but people actually have arms, and it's pretty crazy. And they will target basically what happened is they turn people against each other by category, and they extend the evilness exists in everyone at the time. And to extend in, for example, Nazi, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of Nazi that killed Jewish people. They sent Jewish people to concentration camp. And what Hitler did, he exploited basically the evil side of a human that want to do harm to other people. And in this case...
Was it like they made everybody evil?
Not everyone. They made people who are evil. They gave people who are evil the ability to express themselves, the dark side of themselves.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. That's basically what they did. For example, one of the girl in my professor, his name's Professor Zhou. So my Professor Zhou, he have a pretty big class. And one of his neighboring class, they had this girl. She was basically 8th grader, but she was not dating, like hanging out with high schooler. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they were like dating, they just having fun. But people in the other class believe she had intimate relationship with the other group.
Yeah.
And they said that's a bad thing. Mostly because other girl could be jealous of her. And they spread hatred over her because she was different.
Yeah.
Because she was unique. So they will go tease her constantly.
Yeah. And
they will go cut her hair up.
Yeah.
And you know what's really awkward? Because like they have like reunite party like 20 years, 30 years. Yeah. The girl who got hair cut by like another girl, and no one would talk to the girl who cut the hair.
Yeah.
Because she was being basically a hoe.
Yeah.
Not like a horrible person. Like, why would you do that to another human being?
Yeah.
And that's one thing, authority given to you, because people had never had power, and they were abused, they were misled, and they were given basically tremendous power over society.
Yeah.
And
Because
like,
of the political party.
yeah, basically the Chinese Cultural Revolution, and many horrible things happened. Like, just in my Professor Zhou's class, one of the biology teacher,
In China.
yeah,
Yeah.
killed himself, just because like he constantly get teased, and people will like cut his hair up.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know what's the fascination with cutting other people's hair in
It's
China.
like, ooh.
Yeah, like that's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's very horrible. I maybe can see that, but yeah, I don't. Okay, if somebody cut my hair and called me names, I wouldn't kill myself.
Yeah.
I would get really mad, and I will plan out my revenge 10 years later. That's the person I am. But I will not
Don't mess with this guy.
yeah, I will not kill myself. Maybe people are different. And some people
Yeah.
take that very seriously. They probably were teasing him, disrespecting him. And he just
Pretty
feel
bad.
like, yeah, life isn't worth it anymore. And
Yeah.
he killed himself. It's a very horrible thing. And when Chinese Cultural Revolution ended, people realized, wow, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Like, we should never do this again. And a lot of stuff recording to history. Many politician, writers, and a lot of people wrote about what happened.
Yeah.
Real fiction. And it was a period that people actually put this in textbook. So we will never repeat this again.
Yeah.
And even Chinese government itself, I mean, they never claim anything they did wrong.
Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong.
But-
But they don't want it to happen again.
Yeah, they actually said the 10 year that it happened is considered a 10年浩劫, which means 10 years of disaster. I mean, even like such authoritarian government said it themselves that 10 years of Chinese Cultural Revolution was horrible.
Yeah.
So I came up with a close scenario. Basically, if us in school right now,
Yeah.
if we're basically in high school right now, what if basically one day an announcement, the U.S. military came over and said, we're not gonna have school anymore,
Yeah.
and your most
Yay.
important job instead of school is to find your oppressor, and you have to teach them, because you're better.
That would be weird.
Yeah, and I imagine the scenario, and I think U.S. it won't be as disastrous in China, because it's a very different relationship between your teacher and the student in
Yeah.
China. Like, teacher will, they're very, very special in the sense they only promote, like, the students who are very good, and they will basically do not care, or basically talk trash about students that are bad.
Yeah.
So in this way, the idea is you have to beat the iron to make it harder.
Yeah.
And that's the philosophy they believe, and which is actually from the Confucianist ideal. Like, you have to push people so they can fulfill their potential.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really work. It's not necessarily the best way.
Yeah, telling everybody to like be mean
Yeah.
to each other is probably not a good
Basically-
way to push people to do good things.
Exactly. They tell people they sucks. That's what they said. They told everybody who get B or C, they're like, you're dumb. You're stupid. That's literally what teacher will say to you, and in hope to get you better. I don't understand how that works,
No.
but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And people really hated their teachers
Yeah, that's crazy.
because of that. But in US, I don't think people will do that to teachers,
No, I feel like there would definitely be a lot of hatred for different people, like minority groups who'd
Yeah.
be hated on by
Mm-hmm.
majority whites, I think. But I feel like teachers maybe wouldn't be.
The target.
Yeah. I feel like other people would be.
And yeah, I could see that. And basically the main idea is like the movie, The Plague? No, not Plague. Purge.
The Purge?
Yeah, it's very similar to Purge. In fact,
Yeah.
it's not lawless. You can't murder people, but everyone's giving, in a sense, like power. Not everyone, but the people who are oppressed the most were
Are
given
getting-
power.
Yeah.
to fight their oppressors. So it's a little crazy, and
That's
yeah,
crazy.
basically it's a horrible thing that should never happen again in China. And I'm very sad that they start removing stuff from the textbook. In fact, I went checking like most of high school and middle school material, and I can't find much about this.
Yeah.
And like my Chinese professor, his life story is basically a legend. He was in Tiananmen Square.
He was in what?
Tiananmen Square. So do you know what that is?
No.
Tiananmen Square is like a Tiananmen massacre. So basically, after Cultural Revolution and past many chairmans, they realized, wow, democracy is actually good for the country. We could speed up the growth and get things better in this world. If we
Speed up the bro, is that what you said?
growth,
Oh.
like in the country. Yeah, basically, we can get more bros in here. We can get this country into a better place if we have democracy. And they protested, very like a small group, which is Beijing University. It's like the second best or the best university in China. It's just like small group of students, but then people start rallying in, and more students showing up, and that showed up like in every major city in China.
Is that like when the guy's going like this in front of the tank?
Yeah.
That picture?
Yes, that's where it
Okay.
comes from. And what happened is, military don't know how to deal with that, and they call up the government. The government said, "You guys got to go there and calm the student down. You have to kick them out."
And they killed a whole bunch of them, didn't they?
Yeah, and he started out. They were trying to get in there, but the citizen of Beijing, like normal citizen,
Yeah.
like a taxi driver,
Yeah.
street vendor, they tried to use their life to block military from coming in to reach the students.
Yeah.
Because they believed students were doing the right things.
Yeah.
And then military were pushing them with like what's the thing on like a
Tank?
no, not tank. Bayonet, not bayonet.
I don't know.
Like the knife on top in front of a gun. Bayonet. Like a old style rifle, but you have like a really sharp knife, and then you put on that top of
They were like pushing people with that.
yeah.
Ouch.
Basically, they were trying to force people out, and many people stopped, and they don't know who fired it first, but then the military started firing, and then that
They
got,
don't know who fired first.
Yeah.
That's funny.
they don't know. Like student might apparently student have a gun.
Probably not.
Yeah, but they don't know who fired first, and a lot of people died after they start firing, and it's a very sad thing. And they basically sent the kids to labor camp. In
Jeez.
fact, a generation of kids, which is arguably one of the worst things they could do. If this generation of people, if they stayed in China, China would be in a much better place than it could have been. Horrible policy. But my professor was in Tiananmen Square, and then he moved to U.S. after that,
That's awesome.
because that's like crazy. He gave up. Yeah. And remember we talked about iron
Yes,
somewhere in
yes,
that
yes.
conversation, and this is where iron comes back again. Recently, Donald Trump put a tariff on iron
Yeah.
in U.S., so imported from China specifically. And in response to that, China actually pulled back investment and other type of stuff from U.S.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible situation. Do you know what a tariff is?
Is it like a trade block on another country? So like we won't sell our iron to them or receive.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. What's a tariff?
A tariff is when China is selling, for example, 1 ton of steel for $100.
Yeah.
And then usually US is selling 1 ton of steel for $200. So no one's gonna buy the US steel. So what US government did is they put a $100 tariff from importing Chinese steel. So steel in China now costs $200. And that $100 will go back to the US government. So for example, I'm China right now,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're US. You can produce 1 ton of steel for $200.
Okay.
I can produce 1 ton of steel for $100. correct?
Yes.
Who would you think customer is gonna buy their steel?
China.
China, right? So you're gonna buy steel from me. I'm gonna give it to you. And Donald Trump is just saying, whoa, this is bad. American have to buy steel from America. So what he did is,
Oh, he made it harder for people to buy steel from China.
yeah, basically
Made it the same. Got it.
same
Yeah.
price. And in economy,
Isn't that bad for like our industries that use iron though? Because
it like
it could be good in the long run, right? For U.S.
you will be bad
policy because
for everyone.
yeah, basically. Because China's losing business, and then U.S. businesses that were relying on Chinese iron are losing business.
Mhm.
So basically, everybody's losing business until like I suppose eventually a tariff could do good, right?
In history, every time we see a tariff happen, it never works.
Yeah.
It never works. In like 1930s, we
Okay,
were doing
yes.
like pineapple tariff on Hawaii.
Yeah.
It never worked. It never worked. And what happened is only $50. That's what U.S. government is really getting.
Yeah.
The other 50 is actually economic loss, called deadweight loss in economy.
Yeah.
Because this $50 goes nowhere. It basically disappeared.
That's
in-
dumb.
And in the long run, what China did, it's pulling investment from U.S.
That's
and that
bad.
is really bad. In economy, ideally, when you have investment increase, the output capital for your country also increase. When you pull investment back, that is horrible.
Yeah.
That is a deadly things to do. And Donald Trump is doing both of those things.
Yeah.
And that's horrible because it will ruin economy in short run and long run.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is actually not lie in the tariff or like trading goods, but is in investment.
Yeah.
Because without investment, growth of both countries will slow down. So it will be a lose-lose situation when this type of event happens. So it's basically bad for everyone.
Bad.
Bad.
Andy Columbus, 2018.
And now we're in the second section where we
Ooh.
start eating some food. Do you know how to use a chopstick, Cole?
You've taught me a little bit. I don't know.
Okay, I believe you know the way.
Alright.
So you hold it like this. I hold it by the end because I get more torque this way from
Okay.
physics point of view. I'll grab one like this, and it's actually part of like it doesn't have much fat. I can show you guys. Like the transparent part is the tendons, and in China traditionally
I'll try a little piece because I'm scared.
people.
Is this like the stuff that's in the Vietnamese soup?
No. People
Interesting.
eat this with alcohol
Yeah.
because
I see that. It's kind of like, it's like aged.
It's called marinated beef, I think.
Is it dried? It's good.
It's
Kind of
baked,
like cheese.
and I think it's like marinating a sauce for a day, and then they bake it. And
Yeah.
people not drink this. People eat this with the white,
White wine?
yeah,
Ooh,
But-
let's get some white wine right now.
white wine.
Oh.
It's different in China because in U.S. it's made
I
of
don't know
grapes,
what that is.
white grapes, correct?
Yeah.
But in China it's made of
I'm struggling.
in China it's made of whatchamacallit, weed, not weed.
Weed?
Weed.
Mm.
It's fermented through rice. No, that's sake.
It's not made of grapes though?
No. It's a different type of crop, and it's almost like it is harder than a hard liquor.
Ooh.
'Cause
I
do you know how pure whiskey is? Like 60,
I don't drink alcohol. so no.
67%. It is, yeah. White wines in China is probably harder than vodka. It's like almost. I don't understand why people would drink that though, because it's like it actually kills you a little bit inside. I feel like. It is very crazy, very strong. And people usually like something like this to balance it off because it's oily,
Yeah.
it's a little salty, and it's meat. People like proteins.
Pretty good.
Hmm.
I'll give this some vodka though.
And actually, like you can see old people in China on the street, go eat it with their friends. Like us, what we're doing right now, basically, when we get super old in China, this is what happens. People go there for like the whole afternoon.
Yeah.
And all they do is drink and eat this. That's what old people do in China. I mean, that's like a pretty good life.
That's good.
No wonder why like cocaine worked really well for the British people. Because that's cocaine. Damn. Not cocaine. What were yeah, basic cocaine. Alright. And this right here
Uh-oh.
is something really spicy. Mustard, green beans. But it's not mustard. It's more like wasabi green beans. How do you eat plastic 101? We're trying this one. This is
I'm scared,
high key
guys.
spicy. You just gotta let it through.
Let it through? Is it gonna like
No.
burn out the other end of me or something?
You just gotta take a good bite. How'd you feel?
I don't feel good.
Not good? Not good? So,
Holy shit.
this is mega spicy. And that's just a prank. This is actually not the spicy version.
No. Oh, I thought it
'Cause-
was gonna be worse.
The Japanese people made this, but this brand is Chinese brand. So they don't know
Oh.
the way. They don't know the way.
They don't know the way, but it's still burning here.
Yeah. The Japs makes this so good. Japs know this. And I think we're running a little bit long on the time.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay.
do a real quick
Shout out.
shout out and a conspiracy part.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get to the end of the video. Let's start with a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Fortnite before?
Yes. Are you talking to me?
Yes. Fortnite is a great game. Right? Right? Do you know who owns Fortnite?
No.
Epic Games. They made many games before. Pretty new publisher overall. But do you know who owns Epic
Oh.
Game? Are you dying?
No.
You might need some water.
I'm okay.
Okay. A
Holy
company called
bananas.
Tencent. Tencent. And guess who owns that?
Who?
China. Actually China. Because though Tencent is like basically just like a normal company
Yeah.
in China, but any company that's have huge assets belongs to the Chinese government. Because they basically are state-owned.
Oh.
So it's crazy.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
have you heard of League of Legends?
Yeah.
And that's what the kids are playing back in the day when it was super popular, super hot. Do you know who owns the League of Legends?
Epic game.
No, Riot. Riot is the publisher. They're a really small company. They did really well with League of Legends. And recently, guess who is the new owner?
Epic game.
No, Tencent. But basically, you're leading it back to the right place, though.
China.
Yeah. And
Fully.
that's their master plan. They're branching out,
Oh.
and they're
Oh.
trying to get every single big company. That's what they're trying to do.
That's crazy.
They buy the copyright and they make the game themselves. So, for example, China have basically League of Legends on their phone. Riot could sue them, but they can't anymore because they technically own Riot.
Yeah.
And after that, they bought out Epic Game and to get the copyright of Fortnite. and they put Fortnite on the phone. Now they also have the phone, and now is after the facts is done. This is all facts. Now we have to get to the conspiracy theory.
Where's the
part.
conspiracy?
China is slowly degrading U.S. That's what they're trying to do
Oh
right
yeah,
now. Yeah. And here's where the conspiracy coming in. They're gonna basically poison the younger generation of U.S. And another good thing is China. Good thing. Another thing is China and Russia put Trump in office because Trump is not a president that can destroy the world, but also Trump is not gonna give U.S. any economic growth.
He's not gonna help us. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Who said that? I said that.
Exactly, and they going to slow down growth of U.S. education and basically everything, so they can get ahead in
Cold War number 2.
AI technologies. Because right now, U.S. have about 5-year lead in AI technology. We're the entrepreneur. We are the best at AI technology right now. And Vladimir Putin, he said, whoever owns AI technology in the next 30 years, who rule the world. That's what he said. And I can sense something here that China is trying to get ahead right now without actually going to a war or using some other stuff to
Like
slow
I
down
said.
the US.
Cold War number 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's too cray-cray. And that's basically the conspiracy theory. So don't play Fortnite because you're giving in. Spend your time study. All right, spend your time learning and educate
You gotta
yourself.
fight the Cold War
That's what you have to do. That's the best way. That's the only way. All right.
for the country.
All right. Now this is where we give a shout out to my sponsor. Do you know a province in China called Wuhan by any chance?
No.
So they're pretty far in the west east like region. It's a pretty cool city, and I'm gonna put their link down below if you guys want to check out their travel agency website. It's called Tenpin, and then what they do is you connect with them, and they connect with you. Then they make a travel plan for you,
Oh.
and they'll take you to all the important sites there, and they'll basically tell you what's popping,
What's poppin', G?
what's going,
What's going, G?
and then they're gonna bring you back. It's that easy, and they will do all of that for you for a really nice price.
Litness.
Litness. That's right.
Litness.
All right. Anything you want to say today,
No.
my boy?
Follow my blog.
Follow my blog.
Yeah.
What's your name? The blog name?
Colbersh.
Colbersh.com
BURSCH at medium.org.
at medium.org. Hit me up with the link. I'll drop down below.
Okay.
We'll check out my boy Cole's blog and the travel agency's website. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys
Yes.
have a nice day.
Don't play Fortnite.
Don't play Fortnite, remember. That's the master plan. All right.
Chinese government's taking over the country.
All right, real quick. Peace. And then we can stop the stream. Oh, man. Whoa.